And welcome back to another episode of JP and the Beanstalk.
You bet. We're glad to be here. The energy is terrific. It's great in the gym. Beans, it's good to see you again.
We're here.
We are here. We are present. Here's a fun question for you.
Oh boy.
In the time since our last pod, have you watched a single second of the Winter Olympics?
Curling was on.
Hey,
Not for me, but it was.
Wow.
So I was in Florida,
yeah,
and we were at a lot of bars,
sure.
and so it's there.
It was there.
Curling. Watched some of the hockey games.
Yes.
That was about it. Curling and hockey.
Quick hockey plug. USA victorious today in overtime. Sudden
America.
death. America. Number 1. It was glorious. So, well, good for you getting, expanding your horizons, as it were.
Sure.
Good for you.
Totally by choice, but we did it.
It's great. Listen, how can you not enjoy watching world-class athletes do their thing? I will say the only time I'm ever going to watch curling is during the Olympics.
It'd be weird if you didn't, or it'd be weird if you did.
Don't you wonder? I wonder this with so many and I think it's more frequent with the Winter Olympic sports. How does someone get into these various sports, right? Like lugeing, bobsled, curling. These are such niches, right? It's like I understand like the skiing, right? A lot of people ski. Okay, sure. But who found a big rock and said, let's put a handle on it, chuck it down some ice, and not call it shuffleboard? That's amazing.
I think at this point it's
That's
just
amazing.
passed down family to family.
Could be. Could be.
Like that's their thing. Like you know how blacksmiths were a thing. The family occupation was blacksmithing.
Sure.
I would assume that the family sport is curling.
Former blacksmiths. It could be. It could be. Here's another follow-up question to that question. If you could pick one winter sport in the Olympics that you could participate in, that you're like, hey, I'm awesome at this, right? That you were, say you're not today, but if you could be, what sport would you choose?
I don't even know all the sports.
No, you don't need to know all of them. Just off the top of the dome.
Probably hockey.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably be hockey. It's the one I respect the most.
Yep.
So
It's absurd how quickly they move on skates.
It is.
How rapidly they change direction. It's insane.
I've never ice skated in my life. So
Mhm.
props to you for that. Also, I just love the pure fact that if you don't like somebody, you can just fight. And you're not gonna get booted. You're not gonna get ejected.
You're gonna get cheered.
You're gonna
get cheered.
You're gonna get rooted
People
on.
will love you.
The umps are gonna let you go, and then you both get into the penalty box, and then it's all good.
They're moving on.
It's such a beautiful thing in sports where I'm like, you know what? Maybe football would benefit from this aspect of letting them fight, and then you just play 10 on 10 for a little bit. I'm dead serious.
Just open the field up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
I like that idea more than I care to.
Have you seen the last couple of fights in even like college men's basketball or professional basketball where they have been going at it? Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them go at it.
I'm all for it in football. I'm all for it in hockey. The basketball one, you should just be ejected immediately. It's like control yourself. Control yourself. Like hockey and football they're designed to be physical, punishing sports in that regard. Basketball, it's meant to be spacing, fluidity. Obviously, there's a physical element to it, but it's not meant to be hey, who can push the other guy out of his spot. Whereas in football, that's exactly what it is. And in hockey, that's another thing that it's exactly what it is. In basketball, you're supposed to maneuver, set screens. So to me, it's control yourself. But I'm all for it in hockey and football, by all means. I genuinely like the idea of, hey, you get in a fight in football, great, both teams play with 10 guys. Because imagine what guy they would remove, right? Is it the guy that was in the fight and now he's out? Or you have some options. Can you say, hey, we're going to take an offensive lineman out. We're going to play 4-0 lineman, right? We're just going to run the Wildcat. No quarterback. Just snap it and go.
That would also be really funny.
That's what I mean.
If there's a quarterback safety fight and they have to
Or
start someone else.
Is it just strictly the guys that are in the fight, whatever position they play? Could be interesting. Yeah.
But see, have you ever taken a hard screen though in basketball?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me want to punch somebody.
That's fair.
You know
get
what I mean?
ejected. You're done.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you
But
think about your
see,
choices.
I think they just let them fight each other. Just let them do it at that point. Give them half court, or give them the center circle in the court,
Yeah.
and just let them go for about 5 minutes, and then
I would get on
penalty
board
box 4 on
if
4.
they did it old school American Ninja Warrior. No, that's not right. It's not American Ninja Warrior. American Gladiator.
Yep.
Where you're standing on the pedestal and you have the bow staff with the big cushions on it. It's just comical. That'd be fantastic. I'd be all for that. That'd be very entertaining. Hockey's a good answer. For me, what I've been maybe most impressed with is the high speed downhill skiing when these people are going 90 miles an hour on skis and turning and not falling over and dying. It's insane. I would love to be able to do that. That's incredible.
I'm good.
It's just incredible.
I get it. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I'm good. That doesn't sound like a good combination for me. I've had enough skiing experiences that went poorly for me. There's a reason.
In this hypothetical situation, you would be good at this. You're at the Olympic level. Yeah. Okay, still pass for you. That's okay.
I'd rather be the guy that gets in fights.
The camera views, by the way, for these Olympics have been terrific. I don't know if you've seen how they've implemented drones to get above and behind you, especially of what I was just talking about with the skiers. It's amazing. It's like the most point of view you could get without somebody wearing a GoPro. It's so cool. So cool.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Well, the Olympics continue to march on. It's great. We continue to march on with this podcast as well. On today's pod, we have a couple of new trailers to discuss. Spider-Man Noir dropped the trailer. Nick Cage probably will never die.
He won't.
The Mandalorian and Grogu dropped its trailer. Full-length trailer, by the way, not the excuse of a Super Bowl teaser that we saw. And then, of course, we'll continue our march through the MCU. We're into Phase 2. Previous pod was Iron Man 3. Today's pod, Thor, The Dark World. And then, of course, we'll wrap things with another classic, JP and the Beans Top 5.
That's too excited for Dark World.
We'll just try to hype it up. We'll try to hype it up. I'm sure it'll come.
Excited.
It'll come down. Don't worry.
We'll get in there in a little bit, but it's too excited.
Okay. First of all, before we get into the two trailers, how about, can we just complain for a moment with our first world problem of the lack of trailers in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, that was asinine.
That was brutal.
That was
brutal.
It's mind-boggling to me, and I saw the report that Marvel probably wasn't dropping anything, which I'm still surprised you don't just throw your Daredevil trailer in there just to get some extra eyes on it with how close it is. Yeah. But you don't put Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. You don't put Avengers. You know what? I get the Doomsday thing. You dropped 4 teasers. But Spider-Man is out in July. You have March, April, May, June, July. 5 months. 5 months we haven't seen jack crap except some of the little leaks for folders and backpacks for the school kids. But I'm just
compare Spider-Man to, in terms of its lack of marketing up to this point, to the Supergirl movie. And the amount of marketing we've seen for it. And it's coming out in June. So a little bit, a month ahead of the Spider-Man movie. But it has been months, not singular, but plural, ahead in terms of its marketing.
But DC also didn't drop anything new.
Also correct.
Nothing from Lanterns?
No.
I mean, that's pretty much the big project.
Oh, those rascals.
So
they're messing with me at this point.
There's a lot more meat on the bone for them to deal with, probably, than we wish. But, you get the hope because you get the little clip in the HBO teaser.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh.
They're ready. They're close.
We got to be close to a trailer. Yeah. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
Yeah. I'll repeat what I said previously. It's not necessary, of course, to market a movie during the Super Bowl, but this is such an event. For the sheer entertainment of it, why not have a 30-second to 60-second at most trailer prepped that you can drop? It's not going to be a full 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's okay. It's okay if it is. But I'm saying have at least a decent, really condensed, pack and a punch 30-second clip in there. How are we getting nothing? That's just very strange to me. And the fact we went over. That's wild.
Well, we did have one, and it was Star Wars.
Didn't count.
It's Mando and Grogu.
Didn't count.
And it was them mocking
Didn't
the Budweiser horses.
Oh.
And I think they nailed it. I think it was the perfect trailer. It got me hyped. I'm super excited now because the last time I saw one of those little llama things was when Han Solo cut one open in half and chilled inside of it. So, more
Worked out
power
well for
to
Han.
him.
Worked out well for Han.
Oh, it worked great. So maybe we're going back to Hoth. Maybe. Who knows? It was a waste of money. It was 100% a waste of money and
bad.
time. And I'm like, really? This is what we're getting?
Yeah.
This is what we're getting? And then you drop a trailer anyways the following week. Screw you. Absolutely screw you. That's bullshit.
I don't understand. I really don't understand the rationale behind it. Like, why not participate? These companies are also, they're at the pinnacle in terms of financial weight. So it's not as if, it's not in the budget this. I mean, it's not in the budget. It should be an annual automatic thing of, hey, what are our one or two big summer movies? Okay, so let's get 30 to 60 seconds prep for the Super Bowl. That should just be an automatic rinse, repeat. You're always doing that if you're Marvel. You're always doing that if you're DC or Warner Bros.
Except this year.
Weird.
It's super weird.
It's weird.
It is what it
It's
is.
weird. Okay. Well, that weirdness aside, we did get, after the Super Bowl, a couple trailers that we're going to discuss. Let's start with Spider-Man Noir. Being released.
Not Spider-Man Brand New Day.
To be clear.
Spider-Man
we're still waiting.
Noir.
We're
The one
still
Spider-Man trailer we didn't ask for. And not only did we get one trailer, we got two, one in color, one in black and white, because you can watch this show in both.
Yeah. So, Riles, help me understand how Spider-Noir exists.
Because Nicolas freaking Cage is the man. That's why it exists. First of all, he's a fantastic voice for Spider-Man Noir in Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes.
And he must have done such a good job that they're like, well, let's bring this to life. I will be very curious if this is connected to that movie at all, or if this is just its own thing. I'm thinking it's probably just its own thing.
It feels like its own thing, which is what's all the more bizarre. Truly. Who, and again, with the usual caveat, okay, of we've been wrong before, where we're going, no one wants to watch this, and then it comes out, it's actually delightful. Fully within the realm of outcomes that are possible here.
I hope that's the case, to be honest with you, because I love Nick Cage.
Right. And who doesn't love our guy Lamorne Morris? Right? Winston of New Girl fame.
Playing Robbie Robertson.
Fantastic.
What a pull.
Fantastic. And to be fair, like they've pulled together a real live cast here, along with Nick and Lamorne. You got Brendan Gleeson dropping in here. Brendan's been around the block in a good way, more than a couple of times.
Who's playing Sandman? Because that's the villain that was like teased.
Right. They haven't attached character names on IMDb to anybody outside of Nick Cage, Lamorne Morris. No, that's actually it. So I just have to say, I don't know why this exists, but if it's going to exist, let's hope that it's good.
Well,
I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams had Nick Cage playing a version of Spider-Man on their what's possible bingo cards in the realm of entertainment in their lifetimes.
At this point in his career.
That's exactly right.
He's an old Spider-Man.
No, but I mean, never is he a good fit for Spider-Man, because we're all thinking, okay, Peter Parker, right? And now this is
he's Ben Reilly,
right? 1930s Ben Reilly. Wow.
Okay,
this is wild. Go ahead.
Well, here's the other thing to wrap your head around. The Noir Marvel series
Yep.
was not a light series at all.
Correct.
This is not a fun-go-lucky universe. This is a very disturbing universe.
Yep.
I want to put this out there, just for the people that don't know. How Uncle Ben dies is he is eaten by the Vulture. The Vulture is a cannibal in Noir, and that's just one of the characters in Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. I'm sure Sandman is probably a gangster, because that just seems like that's right where that's at. But it's disturbing. All of his rogues are disturbing in this.
Yeah.
And JP is speechless.
See, and then I go, how does it even exist as a comic? But again, It exists already. So what is it going to take for this to be successful? Okay, what's it going to take? Comes out May 27th, so we've got about 3 months of runway here for it to continue to get hyped. People are going to watch it because Nick Cage has resuscitated his career and his public image in the last handful of years. So he's back in the fickle good graces of the general public. They're going to watch Nick Cage. But what's going to keep them watching after episode 1? What's gonna be a hook here?
I think you have to lean into the goofiness.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Like and lean into the darkness of it.
Mm-hmm.
This should not be a light. This needs to be a criminal detective that happens to be Spider-Man. Like, you have to lean into that, because if it's
I'm hearing Peacemaker. Like, as you're describing what you're describing, that's what's bouncing around my dome. Right?
Yes, Peacemaker.
Not a direct, like, twin, but some kind of sibling or cousin here.
Yes, where Peacemaker leaned into the weird, Spider-Man Noir needs to lean into that style and era that they are actually portraying.
Yep.
Because if Nick Cage is not Spider-Man of that era, it's not going to hit. So you got to lean into the weird. I really don't know how they're going to do it, because to me, I mean, this is probably a this is a mixture of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery and probably Batman's style of villains.
Sure.
And really Arkham Asyluming them up.
Yep.
In that sense, where they're all crazy wackadoos that are murderers and killers and gangsters.
Yep.
So to put Nick Cage in that situation, it's going to be campy. Mm-hmm. It's going to be ridiculous, but you have to lean into it.
So you'd think it'd be campy, but I didn't get, like, campy vibes from the trailer. I got a lot of, like, dark vibes from the trailer, but what you just described is what I was anticipating, was some campiness, some weirdness. Maybe they just didn't show it, so maybe it's there, but it felt more of a trailer of take me seriously.
Yeah.
Which surprised me as much as not true. The fact that it existed surprised me first. And then the way in which it existed, as presented by this trailer, was right there with me in the surprise.
But
category.
when you think of Into the Spider-Verse, and you think of Spider-Man Noir's, like, presentation in that, he is presented as a very serious character.
Very much so. Yeah.
And his comments, because he's in our century and time period with a Rubik's Cube, he has a whole different, like, his comments are genuine, but, like, dude, what?
Yeah.
So
take himself a little too seriously.
And I think that's, I guess, where the campiness needs to come into play. Because I agree with you. It didn't feel like campy. It didn't feel like 1960s Batman by any means, but it feels... They have the right tone. They have a very serious tone, and it does. It needs to take itself seriously.
Yep.
To be successful.
Yep.
So I don't think I want Cannibal Vulture by any means, but if you want to make Sandman and Norman Osborn gangsters, okay, I can wrap my head around that a little bit more.
Yep.
I don't think they're ready for that complete left turn of a take with the Spider-Man villains compared to the gangster-esque vibes. So I can't believe we're even talking about this movie to begin with. I know. It's crazy. Or the show.
Right. I think it's going to be an 8-episode miniseries. Here's my suspicion. My suspicion is that it's going to be good, and it's going to be far from widespread consumed and enjoyed. Like, those that watch are going to go, hey, this is really flippin' sweet. And then the rest of us are going to go, I believe you. And that's where it's going to that's where I'm going to land, right? It's just fascinating to me.
Well,
just fascinating.
I think they can also afford to take bigger swings.
Yep.
Than with a brand new day.
Totally.
Right, so you might as well take the swing and just see if it hits, and if it doesn't, you know what? Guess what? You had 8 episodes. You tried it. It didn't work, and if for some reason it lands, then I don't think Nick Cage would be like, I'm good with 8 episodes. I feel like he'll come back and do another 8 episodes.
Oh, God bless it. All right, let's move on, shall we? the other trailer that we get to discuss on today's pod, The Mandalorian and Grogu. A little bit different in terms of tone than what we just discussed with Spider Noir.
Well, compared to the first season of Mandalorian, this is a very different set of tone.
Right, and I think that's a big topic for us to dialogue on in regards to this trailer, because you and I were texting pre-pod and going back and forth a little bit. This is it's a very joyful, it's a very goofy, plenty of humor mixed in, and it's almost oh yeah, that's right, there's some action to go along with the humor. Like, if we're going to continue to draw comparisons, felt very Thor Ragnarok, very Thor Love and Thunder.
Ugh.
At the bad end of of the outcomes. But it's very very lighthearted, right? I mean, that's what we saw here. And for better or for worse, as you and I were texting, that's really different than where we started with The Mandalorian in season 1. I think seasons 1 and 2 stayed relatively close to each other in tone. I don't think it was until really we got to season 3 where you started to see
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
It was Boba Fett that took the left turn when no one was expecting them to take a left turn.
I remember the episodes where Mandalorian was part of the show. Was it that light though? When the Mandalorian was in there? Here's what I remember, okay? Season 3, they bring Grogu back into the fold, right? Season 2 ends with Grogu going away with Luke, and we think, there we go, there's the split of the characters. They've had a good run. In season 3, within an episode and a half, we're like, just kidding. We're back together. We're hanging out. And from that point of reunion, it was a different tone. I think that's my line of demarcation.
That's fair.
In my memory. What about you, though? That, again, truly just going off my own memory.
Well, I'm going off of trying to remember what happened in the first 4 episodes of Boba Fett, which I don't remember at all. So that tells you a lot off the rip.
Yep.
And I remember the 5th episode being straight up a Mandalorian episode and being so disappointed that Grogu's probably coming back. Because I'm like, this doesn't make any logical sense. You're jumping the shark at this point for me, and you're bringing him back as a cash grab, because I know how it works with cute little things, all right? I watched Baby Groot. I was so good. But here's the deal. We got Baby Groot for 1 movie. And they decided to bring Grogu back. And they didn't age him up. And then, yes, you get into season 3, and they're back together, and you're just like, you're putting such a seatbelt on the Mando when you should just be letting it be that old-style Western-esque show. And it does. It loses its seriousness in a little bit, because now you have a playful child that he has now to babysit and raise, essentially. So you're probably right. It probably does hit at 3. Yeah. I think that Boba Fett episode is like an oh no. Like, oh, here we go. This is the wrong direction. Yep. So I think that's why in my head I'm like, That's where it started to lose it a little bit for me.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a fun hypothetical game. Okay, and before we get too far down the hypothetical, let's circle back to the trailer itself. Okay, entertaining trailer.
I think it'll be a fun movie.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun, right? Like, we're dunking on it a little bit here in some indirect ways, but truthfully, it looks like it's going to be a fun movie.
Sigourney Weaver's in there.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this really feels like a goodbye.
Sure.
For the characters.
Sure.
Like, this feels like this is it.
Yep.
Which, bummer, because I love Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I love that character. Great character. A great new character that when he came out, it's like, oh, this is what Star Wars should be.
Yep.
This is how you do Star Wars without lightsabers.
Yep. Yep. If it's
crazy,
if it's not Jedi and you're going to do it, here's how to do it.
Crazy, because I didn't need the lightsaber fights. Mm-hmm. If that's what we're getting, and the Mandalorian background, so cool. Mm-hmm. And now it just feels like Pedro wants to go do other things, which good for him. Good for him. But at the same time,
he's in demand.
The way that they were talking in the trailer about how Grogu is going to outlive him and
Yep.
all this other stuff, you're like, oh,
We're saying goodbye to the Mandalorian.
we're saying goodbye to this. Is
Sure.
the end of this character's story
Mhm.
for a while, probably. So, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I think we're okay with sunsetting the Mando and seeing what else is out there. But
Yeah, I agree. It looks like it's going to be very entertaining. It looks like, and this has been a gripe and a justifiable gripe of ours, the production quality from what we're seeing in the trailer, there weren't any half-baked, CGI shots, so that shouldn't have to be said, right? That should be a given, but it hasn't been a given. So it at least looks like from a production value point of view that that we're getting our I's dotted and T's crossed. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be entertaining. I think, and this is where we'll circle back to that hypothetical, they have made a decision, for better or for worse, right or wrong, they have made a decision to send the character of the Mandalorian out and the characters of Grogu out. This feels like Star Wars is trying to cast a net and capture some fresh fans where they're going, hey, look at us. We're fun. We're entertaining. Come watch us. Because of how rough the movie path has been. There's been some hits on the show side, some misses as well. But I think Star Wars is at a point where they're going, what's our most recognizable entity right now? It's Mandalorian. It's Grogu. Let's toss it out there on the big screen, say goodbye, and use it as an opportunity to kind of build off of in terms of we've gathered some fresh fans, and now we can keep rolling from here.
Well, also on a bright note, too, because I agree with that. We're also not just going to be stationed on Tatooine here.
Correct.
They made a really big emphasis that we were going
point.
all different places.
Yep.
We get
All
to
over
see
the
the
galaxy.
huts and their actual planet, their
Yep.
home planet.
Yep.
And I think that's appealing, too, in that sense of getting new fans because they're like, hey, here's all the worlds we can explore.
Yeah.
It's not just Tatooine, which is one of the major hangups with Star Wars is always back to the desert planet. Yep. It's always back to Tatooine.
You have this infinite galaxy, and yet you're always on the desert. You're always with the Skywalkers.
But we got an ice planet in there, which maybe it's Hoth, maybe it's not.
Maybe.
I'm thinking probably lean towards Hoth just based off of that weird, stupid teaser that we got at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I can't remember the place for the huts, but there was also some like highly trafficked, like Coruscant style planets as well. So they're taking us to every end of the Star Wars universe.
Get to see a lot.
And I think that will also help them in that sense because if somebody's like, oh, dude, the jungle planet with the Jabbas is sick, that's probably not going to happen because the huts are gross. But being like, oh, we could go back there, and then that's something for them to grab onto and be like, okay, we'll explore this area a little bit more with the slug people. They're not going to do it again. Jabba, the huts are weird and gross.
They're not pleasant to look at,
and the ones that do speak English, it's like nails on a chalkboard. They're disgusting individuals. Okay, but I think that does widen the scope here for Star Wars as a whole moving forward, and I will be very curious to see what Filoni takes from this movie and moving forward builds off of. So, because he's still hunting bounties in this, so that's going to be cool. And very specific for bad guys.
Yep.
He's helping out the resistance.
Right.
So, I guess we wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so the hypothetical I wanted to ask you, what direction would you have preferred? Let's use season 2, its conclusion, as our jumping off point. What direction would you have preferred to have seen The Mandalorian go? Season 2 ends. Grogu links up with Luke. Mando's on his own again. What would you like to see happen next?
I am a firm believer that the two should have stayed split.
Mm-hmm.
I think having the Mando go off on other adventures, going after bounties, I enjoy thoroughly the building of the armor aspect.
Yep.
The Mando...
Yep. Correct. Always been one of the coolest elements of the character.
For sure.
It's like physical demonstration of how the character is progressing. It's like, oh, he gets another piece of Beskar armor.
But I even enjoyed, and this is where they could have done better with in season 3.
Yep.
I enjoy his dynamic with the other Mandalorians, where you have the separate sects,
Yep.
where it's
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan,
Yep.
who's a fantastic character
Yep.
in her own right.
Right.
She's on the different side of it, where like, oh, we'll take off our helmets whenever we want.
Sure.
Blah blah blah. She's trying to regain Mandalore.
Yep.
I would have loved to see those two sides interact more as a whole on both ends, because Mando's kind of the bridge, but also he's not. And you could have done a lot of exploration on that. Send him back to Mandalore and let him explore that.
Yep.
The Darksaber is sick. I love that for the Mandalorians. That's a really cool, unique thing for them. Explore all of that, because that history, and they explored a little bit in Clone Wars as well, and those are arguably the more fascinating episodes of Star Wars, the Clone Wars, than others. Right. It gives you something different than a Jedi and a Sith and Ahsoka, who's in between, but definitely leans more good than bad, right?
Yeah, right.
So it gets you out of that lightsaber mode, and you outside of the black saber, obviously, but
right.
That history in itself is so fascinating to me. And then Grogu, dude, just save him for a later Jedi movie, age him up, and then you can have that be part of his backstory. We're like, hey,
well, you could have dropped him in on occasion. You know what I mean?
Well,
why not? Like the Mandalorian checks in on him once in a while. Okay, sure. Why not?
But how many people for a long time, for Star Wars fans, have been dying to see a younger Yoda?
Right.
Right? A younger Yoda in his prime, tearing people up, full force. People want to see that. This is your chance to do this with non-Yoda.
Yeah.
You can make him talk like a normal person.
Right.
He doesn't have to speak in riddles all of the time. He can literally speak normal. You can have him be a young gun.
Yep.
Clearly, his race is very force sensitive, regardless. That is a very fascinating thing as well in itself. We have little to no knowledge of Yoda's race. Explore that.
Right.
And leave those two separate. They can obviously, they're still tied together. Mandalorian did a really cool thing, getting him back to the Jedi.
Yep.
Great. Have him help rebuild that. How interesting would it have been if Grogu was a part of the whole Kylo Ren fallout,
right?
And he was one of the few survivors again of that. But have him be, instead of this baby who just doesn't know knows what he's doing, but not really.
Super limited though. Super limited.
Let him have conversations. Let him grow up a little bit. I'm even okay if he just is a teenager, running around. That's great. Let him mess up. Let him make mistakes. But when you have these two now tied together, you are keeping the Mandalorian strapped in what he can do, because he's now a father of a child who, hate to break it to you, that kid ain't growing up with him.
Right.
And they make that emphasis in the trailer.
Right.
Like, he is consistently strapped to a baby until probably the day that he dies.
Yeah.
And he's maybe lucky if Grogu can speak sentences.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm in full agreement with you. And here's the weird place that I exist in my mind. I enjoyed The Mandalorian season 3, okay? And my least favorite part, my least favorite element of season 3 was the fact that the Mandalorian and Grogu were together. Not because I want to specifically see them apart, but they just couldn't keep growing as characters. Like, the Mandalorian didn't continue to develop during season 3 of his own show. Grogu didn't develop anymore in season 3 of him being the Robin to the Mandalorian's Batman. They were ready to have time apart so they could continue to grow and develop separately. And then, of course, you can have them overlap and intersect at different points. I mean, good grief, how could it not have been somewhat similar to what we see with the Avengers, right? Hey, look, it's the big team up. And then we go our separate ways, and you have your individual entities. It just felt like, well, frankly, what it was just a money grab. It was a decision based purely on the financial, hey, we're going to make more money if we include Baby Yoda in this. And if they were going to do that, why not let him talk? Why are we still at the squeaks and the sounds? Like, let him,
that's what
let
I
him
mean.
speak, because that's progression. Now you have continued character growth. But the fact that they left Grogu in the same developmental place, I know we got some flashbacks, but I don't even think that was season 3 for Grogu, was it? Where we got flashbacks to what he witnessed during Order
I couldn't
66.
tell
I can't remember
It
specifically
was
now
2 or
myself.
3. It might have been.
It was either late in 2 or it might have been 3. I
It could have
digress.
been
It doesn't matter
episode
too
with
much.
Luke as well, just because he was
Exactly.
going through
Yep.
the pain.
Yep, exactly. But that is easily my least favorite element, and it's not because I dislike either character. They just weren't allowed to continue to progress and to grow.
And that's one of the biggest pet peeves I have in any story
Yep.
is the lack of character progression.
Mhm.
Or
You got to keep growing.
you could make the argument here that there is a character regression
Mm-hmm.
because Grogu, they had the perfect endpoint.
They really did.
They had the perfect
They
endpoint
really did.
at the end of season 2. It's
It was
a
glorious.
perfect ending.
Yep.
They didn't force Luke into that. That's the
Yep.
perfect time to bring Luke Skywalker back.
It's the first time the Mandalorian has ever taken his helmet off, and we've had 2 full seasons of developing the gravity of that choice and what that takes.
And then he has to go and earn it back.
Yeah.
That's
Yep. Agreed.
it's
Agreed.
just yes.
It's hard. Yeah, it's very hard not to look back and go, gosh, if only we could go back in time and redirect the path, the way.
This is the way.
Yeah, because you're absolutely right. I loved all the examples you laid out of different elements of the Star Wars universe that would be wonderful to explore. And so this is where Star Wars has to mature. Is it has to let itself explore new areas, and it's okay if it doesn't work. Like, here's the thing. Did the Acolyte work? It did not work for me. But I love that they took a shot. Okay? Love that they took a swing. Great. Keep swinging. What they're going to do here in another year with Starfighter, with Sean Levy directing and Ryan Gosling starring, far as we know, it's its own Star Wars story, right? Or what they did with with Andor and what that came out of. Like, take those swings. It's okay. They don't all have to hit. Like, Star Wars is such a robust entity that truly, I think, the only way to kill it and for it to not be profitable anymore is just to stop even efforting or to limit yourself to what you think is the safest possible thing. You can actually afford to take some risks here. They don't all have to be hits with the general audience. Now, last thing, and then we'll keep moving. I get the sense from this trailer that Star Wars is going to really intentionally, in this next, to borrow the word, phase, is really going to intentionally tilt towards kids. And I don't mean toddlers. I'm thinking the hard PG to relatively soft PG-13 age bracket. That's what it feels like to me. What do you think?
I'm fine with that. And like the more I think about it, I agree.
Yeah.
That's what it should be, right?
I think so.
You need to be hooking those kids onto it, and then they grow up, and then it's something that they want to show their kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, who doesn't want to see laser swords fight each other? Like, you're going to
They're infinitely cool.
Right.
Always. Every time.
But I compare it to like Transformers.
Mhm.
I compare it to
Mhm.
Marvel.
Mhm.
Do we get the rated R projects every once in a while? Yes.
Yep.
Deadpool is a prime example
Yep.
of a rated R, or Logan is another
Yep.
rated R example that worked really, really well.
Correct.
You can't do that all the time.
Yep.
You can't.
No.
Star Wars you could probably do a rated R with Mando.
Sure.
Probably.
Sure.
But why would you?
Right.
Like, you're
Yeah.
annexing like a whole part of your audience by doing it that way.
Yeah.
So I fully understand why you want to lean more to I would even call it the family
Yep.
blockbuster hit
Yep.
where you're,
Totally.
the story may not be perfect, but the
Mhm.
action's there. There's a little bit of humor. Why not? It's what it should be.
Yeah. I think in a lot of ways, Star Wars has, and we won't belabor this any or too much longer on this particular episode. Star Wars has lost its identity. It does not know, or hasn't known for a while, what it wants to be and who it wants to pursue, but I do think developing your stories to appeal to kids in that age range makes all the sense in the world, because adults are still going to enjoy it if you make it well. If you develop the characters, listen, the rating doesn't dictate how well you can develop characters. It just doesn't, right? Craven was an R-rated movie. I heard that wasn't very good. Never saw it, but heard it wasn't very good.
It was not.
Right?
Can confirm it was
But
terrible.
Logan was phenomenal as an R-rated entity, right? But there's a ton of poor PG and PG-13 Star Wars, rated content. So I think it has everything, like it always has and always will. Develop characters, mix in the laser swords. That's always helped Star Wars. But I think that's the direction we're going. And listen, with Dave Filoni at the helm, kind of makes sense too, right? Dave's nothing if not a fun guy.
Well, he knows, and he does it. He's done a great job in the past of adding new characters that work really well for the world that's already there. I mean, you could go on the long list of characters he created or helped create via Star Wars: The Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels or down that line, and he's done a fantastic job on building off of that to where.
Yep.
Let's see what he cooks now that he's got the full kitchen at his disposal here, and not just a show or two. Yeah. We might be hitting a golden age for this franchise. So,
I would really enjoy seeing Star Wars bounce back. I would love to share that with my kids. That'd be great. Anything else on that front, my good beans?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's keep moving through the MCU. Round 2, Phase 2. We are into the Dark World. Thor. The Dark World. Riley, this movie happened.
It did.
It did.
It happened.
This movie was released back on November 8th of 2013. Okay, just a little context. The first Thor movie came out on May 6th of 2011, so we're a little more than just about on the button 2.5 years later, we get the second installment of the Thor franchise. Iron Man 3, which we discussed on our previous pod, came out earlier that year, May 13th, and Thor: The Dark World would be followed by Captain America: The Winter Soldier on April 4th of 2014. So that is where Thor serves as the meat in the Marvel sandwich.
We should just went there. We should just went to that one.
Comes in at a crisp 1 hour and 52 minutes, directed by Alan Taylor, featuring, of course, Chris Hemsworth as the title character. Natalie Portman's back as Jane Foster. Anthony Hopkins as Odin. Tom Hiddleston is in there as Loki. So all these familiar names, why even bother? Well, because we got a new one in here. Zachary Levi. Shazam! As Fandral. That's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, you kind of forget about the Switch.
Yep.
But yes, it did happen.
Yep. And spoiler alert, he dies real quickly in the next Thor movie. So not much of a run for dear sweet Zach. He's always game, bless him. He tries, doesn't he?
He does.
Makes a great effort. New to the crew, Christopher Eccleston as Malekith. All right. Good to see him. And quite frankly, aside from a bunch of actors and actresses in prosthetics as dark elves, that was about it in terms of, hey, so who's new in this movie? It's Chris. Chris is the new guy. Well, and then Zach Levi, but he's playing the same character. So very little new characters, shall we say. Malekith was the big draw here in terms of villains. We already recapped a lot of the other fun movies that came out in 2013, so we won't go back down that path since we recapped it already in dear sweet previous podcasts. So Beans, what'd you think?
It happened.
It sure happened, bud.
It was boring. I was very bored. This is the first Marvel movie I can confidently say out of all the ones that we've watched in the MCU. I was just thoroughly bored. I was like, man, I don't remember this movie. I wonder why. This is why. I was bored. Nothing happens. It just doesn't. So it is, Malekith is not a villain that is done well at all. From the little time that I've spent with him in the comics, this is a complete 180 opposite of that character. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong, and that is a really important observation.
So
you want to see a neutered Malekith? Here you go. Watch Thor: The Dark World.
I wouldn't even call it neutered. That's a different character entirely, because the little bit that I've had in Jason Aaron's Thor run with Malekith, Malekith has a ton of personality.
Oh boy, a lot of mustard on that hot dog.
Ton of personality. Do I like that Thor is the reason he's got a burnt face? Yeah, cool.
Mhm.
That's a cool nod.
Mhm.
They don't do anything with it.
Nope.
It just is there.
Yep.
And this guy is not, he just wants to turn the world dark because why not? Because that's how it used to be. Okay, go live in a cave. What, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
That's not a good, amount of thing to go after. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Totally.
So,
It's not much of a motive. It's like, I want to make the world dark. Why? Because that's it.
yeah, it's
That's truly the extent of the development of his motive. Because.
And when he's on screen, it's not like he's capturing my attention. There's nothing that's like, oh, like, okay, he turned his main man into Curse. Okay.
Mhm.
No one talks about the fact that Curse is one of the main villains in this movie.
Nope.
I wonder why.
Nope.
Because they don't really mention his name.
Yeah.
But that's who he is. And did he give Thor a fight? Absolutely he did. But okay, I still have nothing for Curse either. It's just like, oh, you just threw him in the movie to throw him in the movie. You know, and there's just, you get nothing out of the Dark Elves in this. Nothing. They, for whatever reason, they were obsessed with giving them those masks that don't
Right.
show their faces. And
Right.
you're like, those masks suck. Those are ugly looking masks. You want to know what they remind me of? They remind me of the Court of Owls.
Court of Owls. Yeah, totally.
And it's just like, this
Totally.
does not fit the Dark Elves. The Dark
Yeah.
Elves are supposed to be conniving, like a race of,
Nasty.
hey, they're going to betray each other
Nasty.
at any given moment. I don't see any of them backstabbing each other anytime soon.
Right.
Malekith somehow gets the throne back from the Dark Elves for backstabbing all of them. And they're like, who's the biggest backstabber here? Malekith.
Mhm.
The guy that they went to war for, they're like, or with,
Right.
they wanted to get rid of him. They're
Mhm.
like, that guy is going to be our king.
Mm-hmm.
And then Thor's love interest, and it's like, I'll take his place. And you're like, this doesn't make sense. Help me wrap my head around
Yep.
that. And
Yep.
like, they just ease past Thor just making peace in the Nine Realms. What happened? What happened for the peace to go away?
Happened pretty quickly, didn't it?
Well, whatever did, yes. And then whatever, it stopped real quick too.
Mhm.
And then they didn't even, they tried to do like a love triangle thing with him, Sif, and Jane, and they don't really do anything with it.
No.
It kind of just dies out. They took off one of the three merry men. Is it merry men? I know that's
The
wrong.
Warriors 3.
The
Lady Sif
Warriors
and the Warriors 3.
They just take
I mean, it is.
one
It's
of
Robin
them.
Hood and the Merry Men.
They take the coolest one off the board
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for no reason.
Yeah.
They're like,
Hogun, why don't you just stay here?
you want to be with your people? Enjoy.
Right? If I'm Hogan, I'm saying no.
Wait.
I'll come back to Asgard.
Who
and
are your people?
Feast and feast.
Who are your people, though? We know nothing about that. It's just, oh, okay, whatever.
It's like this awkward, low-key, racist moment. It's like, listen, you want to be with the other Asians, right? It's so awkward.
It's so
like,
weird.
It's like, what's happening here?
And then
what's happening?
And then what they do with Selvig, I understand why that guy never comes back to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
They turned him into a loony bin, but they don't explain why he's a loony bin. He says, there's a god in my head. We never find out what that means. And then all of a sudden he's just off the medication and he's good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, now you're normal after literally prancing around Stonehenge in your undies?
Not even.
They butchered the character for him. I could not, why?
This movie is such a hot mess. Such a hot mess. For all of, and I really enjoyed what you said about Iron Man 3 with how many missed opportunities there were, but it still ended up being a good movie, entertaining movie. Characters were progressed. Legitimate things happened. This movie, you could remove it, okay? You could genuinely subtract it from the MCU, and you'd be fine. You'd be fine. Like, you go from Thor to Thor Ragnarok, you're like, all right, we're okay here. That's how little this movie manages to accomplish, which is a real shame. Because, again, you've got all of Asgard to play with. You've got the 9 realms to play with. You're introducing what should be one of the most formidable foes in Thor's pantheon. There's all kinds of reasons why this should work, why this should be compelling. But because it lacks a complete identity of who the villain is and what his motivation is, it doesn't give Thor anything to really be in conflict with at all. And so he's just flailing around with a hammer.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want the world to be dark.
Right.
I want light.
I like the light. I tend to favor it. Okay. And they mix, maybe the most consequential thing that happens in the entire movie is the ether is revealed to be an Infinity Stone, but that happens in the end credits scene.
Well, and also,
we didn't need the whole movie to figure that out.
But also, if you think about it, it makes zero sense that is the reality stone.
Yeah, correct.
It makes zero sense. It doesn't do anything reality shaking.
No.
It darkens the world.
It does not follow the rules.
It makes zero sense in
doesn't
that
follow
regard.
the rules of reality stone. Nope.
So, no, I think the only valuable thing from this movie is, and they do it, when they do it well,
Sure.
but they didn't do it enough, and that's the problem. For whatever reason, they backload Thor and Loki's relationship into the second half of the movie.
Correct.
It takes that whole first half to get there.
Yep.
And you only get it for 30 minutes. And then Loki kills himself again,
Right.
fakes his death.
Right.
And you're like, oh, golly, whatever, man.
Mm-hmm.
But you could have used that first half to explore his relationship, or those two's relationship,
Correct.
especially with their mom. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Their mom's death does not hit at all.
No, Frigga gets done dirty in this movie.
And with how Loki reacted to her death, it deserved more.
Correct.
Because
Correct.
it shows that Loki actually does care about someone.
Yep.
Because when Thor's like, you're going to show me the real you, and the whole cell is tossed and he's grieving.
Yep.
It's like, oh, Loki does have people that he cares about, whether he wants to admit it or not. It's such a big key point relationship for them both because, let's be real, Thor and Loki have daddy issues. They do, but they don't have mommy issues.
Nope.
They don't. They both can agree that their mom is awesome.
Yeah.
And her death just does not hit.
Yep.
And you're like, you killed her off to kill her off to give some motivation to Malekith.
Yep.
And
here's what I think the movie sort of tried to do, okay? And what it should have leaned into with full force and full effort. After Avengers, okay, Loki gets brought back to Asgard. He's locked away. Frigga, at that point, the whole first portion of the movie should be this, and it's teased, but it's not really leaned into sincerely. Whole first half of the movie should be Frigga trying to connect Loki and Thor. Not necessarily to say, hey, get Loki out of prison. It's like, he deserves to be in there, and Frigga acknowledges as much. But to use it as an opportunity where Loki's limited, like he can obviously still do shenanigans within his cell, but he can't actually get out. It's not a, hey, you got to trust him, just let him out. It's like, she needs to be doing the motherly thing of trying to build a relationship between her sons. She's the bridge between the two of them. And then Malekith, a creator of chaos, not, hey, I like it dark. It's like, no, I love chaos. I love the killing. I love the death. I love the despair. I'm all in. Like, he is Joker, okay? That's who he is for Thor. It's the closest comp to what is he in the comics that makes him so effective. It's the chaos. But except he's Joker as a wizard. So he has extraordinary magical powers. And so he's a bit of a blend between the Joker and Loki. He's if Loki had literally no conscience and just went nuts. And because they're on a similar power level, and Loki's just going, I'm just going to kill everybody. Okay, so Frigga, she's trying to bring Loki and Thor together. There's some bridge planks being laid down there. And right when you think, hey, things are going well, there's a chance here that Loki and Thor might have their relationship restored. Boom, that's when Malekith rolls in with the Dark Elves, kills Frigga, and now Loki and Thor have the common enemy. And the movie kind of does this. Kind of. But to your point, it doesn't hit. It doesn't work because they don't show it. They're just telling us that Loki cared for Frigga. But you didn't develop it. You didn't give us the time.
She didn't even
together.
have that really in the first one.
No, exactly. So you had to lay the groundwork right here and right now. You had to give these characters a reason, and you sort of tried, but you really didn't. And where it gets really kind of messed up is they force Jane Foster into this story. Quite frankly, Jane Foster should have nothing to do with this story. She shouldn't be in this movie. Don't need her in this movie. Nothing against Natalie Portman, but this should be a Jane Foster free story. We've already had plenty of Thor on Midgard, right? We had plenty of it in the first Thor movie. Guess what? That's where he was in the Avengers. This should be Thor in space. This should be Thor on Asgard in the 9 realms. And I understand Midgard's one of the 9 realms, but again, we've been there. Let's explore the others here. There shouldn't have been. We just did not need Jane.
Yeah, of course the ether picks her. You're like,
exactly.
You're like,
that was so forced.
I was like, in what world? I'm like, in
So
what world?
Colossally forced.
Just because she happens to be looking into it.
Oh my.
Like
Gosh.
that's but and I think the other frustrating thing too is at the end of the movie when you know Loki's back.
Yep.
And now he's just Odin.
Yep.
And you're like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Time out.
Yep.
What happened to Odin?
Yep.
He's just gone? The All-Father. You're telling me you just tricked him and he's gone? And then Thor 3, they kind of address it a little, but it still
just
doesn't
barely.
make any sense.
No, it does not make sense. And Thor 3 actually knows it and acknowledges it and kind of laughs at itself while doing it.
Yes.
Here's the other thing that this movie misses. The Warriors 3 are phenomenal. Like Hogun, Fandral, and especially Volstagg are wonderful. Okay? You have terrific, and I'm sorry, Lady Sif as well. You have terrific actors and actresses in each of these roles. How are we getting this little of them? How are they not being allowed to flex? This should be a group effort waging war in the cosmos against Malekith and the Dark Elves. And instead they ride on a boat together.
They should have been in the final fight.
100%.
Yeah.
Again, it commits the cardinal sin of an action movie of having action that's just not compelling. But the primary reason why it's not compelling is because you didn't develop the characters. You didn't give us a real story. You didn't give us a real villain, which it should have been a real villain. So there's so many should haves, could haves, would haves. But for me, that's what I come back to is Loki, Frigga, and Thor should have been the meat of that first 30 minutes at least, if not 45 of the movie. And then you can transition to Malekith, boom, busting in, killing Frigga, and now we go.
Well, and the movie kind of screws itself too, right
Yes.
from the get-go, right from the gates, in the sense of, okay, you build up the Dark Elves as this incredibly big, scary force. It took your grandfather, which, by the way, Bor, awesome. He's an awesome character, okay? It took Bor, all of his men, and they had to bury that thing deep in the ground.
Yep.
So you're thinking, okay, when the Dark Elves come back, it's going to be a huge war. Mind you, the middle of the battle, when they first raid Asgard, it is a war, and they are winning.
Yep.
The Dark Elves are winning.
Yep. Maybe the best part of the movie, right? Or at least the part of the movie that works the best.
Yes.
Out of all the action sequences.
And then you get a one-on-one fight at the end.
Uh-huh.
And some humans are just able to, because the gravitational is weird, car, bang.
Yeah.
And you're like,
No.
why?
No.
You built up a whole war. And I think the other disconnect, too, I'm just going off
This is
on
great.
tangents
This is
now,
great.
is this felt less fantasy and more space, which I get, it's supposed to be space adjacent. But when I am seeing the Dark Elves come in on their ships, I'm like, this feels like Star Wars.
Yep.
This feels like Star Wars.
Correct.
Those ships look nothing like Star Wars.
Yep.
But the way that those, again, you pretty much have Malekith and the stormtroopers wearing the stupid ass masks. But that's essentially
you're not wrong.
It's essentially
You're
what
not
it
wrong.
is, because they take out all the personality from those characters,
Yeah.
and it's mind-boggling to me in that sense. It's like you went way too space, and you need to. I've said it over and over on the podcast. Thor needs to be your Lord of the Rings.
Correct.
It needs to be your Lord of the Rings with a little touch of space.
Yep.
Because yes, obviously they are technically aliens, because that's the whole reason you get your mind wrapped around the gods. Even Odin says that too. He's like, we're not gods. We are in a different...
Yeah. Some other tier.
Correct.
Yeah. God with lowercase g. But that's such a great observation too, Riles, because I think of even in the Thor comics, they do this so well, where, okay, they're in outer space, but instead of spaceships, like Asgardians are going through space on Viking ships.
Yeah.
But they're just flying through space. And so it's that perfect blend of the fantasy with the space. But that's what it is. It's that element of magic. It's not they're not humans, right? So they're not going, all right, we got to figure out how to conquer gravity and get through space here. It's like they're magical beings. They use magic. It's like, how does that work? It's a boat floating through. Yep, exactly.
It is tech and magic combined.
For all of its, all the elements of the movie that I don't like, Thor: Love and Thunder actually got that right. Where it's like, hey, here's the magical goats in the in the boat.
The best part of the movie.
It is. That's actually, yeah, that's what it should be. That's what they should be using, not spaceships. No, that's not what we're doing here. There's magic. There's sorcery. There's these mythical powers at play. How cool would it have been? Okay, how cool would it have been if Beta Ray Bill had come in this movie? Right?
First of all, Beta Ray Bill in any movie
would just be amazing. So anyway, it's a lot of potential. Didn't make it or did not meet its potential, which is a bummer. But the good news for us is that moving forward, there's a lot of movies that do meet their potential, maybe even exceed it. So this is really, in a lot of ways, I think the last MCU Phase 1 or Phase 2 movie that was having a hard time figuring out its identity. Once we get to our next pod, we're going to find a movie and then movies from there that know their identity, know how to develop their characters, and lean into those strengths in a big way. So it's a bummer this movie couldn't have been better, but in the long run, the MCU wasn't damaged from it. It's just very forgettable. Yeah. All right, Beans. Without further ado, it is time for another classic JP and the Beans Top 5. Staying in line with the Thor theme, we are going to share our favorite Thor villains. So without further ado, Beans, you go first.
Okay, I have a fun one. Because let's just be real. Thor's Rogues Gallery, for the most part, is out there.
Oh, it's wild.
He's got some weird
wild
villains. And I will say, they, for the most part, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But I'm picking this one because it's out there. I've got the Wrecking Crew at number 5.
Nice.
Because their leader has an enchanted crowbar, and I find that hilarious. One dude has an enchanted crowbar. One dude has a
ball and chain,
which is sick. Okay, that's a cool weapon.
Yeah.
One dude is like knockoff Juggernaut, the bulldozer. Cheap, corny, but it works.
These guys would work very well as professional wrestlers.
Yeah. And one dude just uses his fists.
Yeah.
Which is like, you couldn't give that guy something? At least the one guy gets a cool helmet like Juggernaut does. Yeah. But I just love the absurdity of them. There's nothing else really where I'm like, oh, the Wrecking Crew. But I played Ultimate Alliance 1.
I love that, though.
And they came in. Yeah. And they're like, Thor, we're here to mess you up again. And you're like, hold on.
You guys?
You 4 regular guys?
You dudes?
And he's like, yeah, I got this magical crowbar. And you're like, what? This is real? So, for all of those absurd reasons, I have the Wrecking Crew at number 5.
Phenomenal choice on your part. Great number 5. My number 5 is Mangog. Who is Mangog, you ask? Well, thank you for asking. He is the physical embodiment of the hatred of a billion beings.
Love it.
Isn't that great? So when we're talking absurd, this is absurd. He just looks like a giant, oh my gosh, who is the character that Ron Perlman plays?
Hellboy?
Hellboy, okay? He looks like Hellboy with the horns, except his body's yellow, his head is red, he's got a big tail, and he's just unstoppable. He's just friggin' unstoppable, right? You got to toss, he's one of those, you got to toss him into the sun type of guys to bring him down. We're at that level of unstoppable. He's ridiculous. He wrecks Asgard, and somehow also he's done it multiple times, and yet nobody tossed him into the sun yet. So it's just really silly, but I love the name. Mangog, number 5. My number 4, Hela. There are a few things I think more frustrating in this world to a dude than when you have a sister that kicks your butt, right? Hela's capable of this. She gives Thor all kinds of problems. Plus, it's pretty neat when you get the moniker of Goddess of Death. That's not bad, right? You want to know how terrifying she is? Odin's like, how about you be my executioner? Wow. Wow. That's a sign of some things, none of which are particularly positive in the personality profile, but it does mean that you're really effective at what you do. So Hela, for me, is my number 4. Your number 4, Beans.
My number 4 is also Halo.
Well, that's just really great.
It just worked out real
How
well.
neat is that?
Yeah. Kate Blanchett, phenomenal.
Wow, wasn't she great?
Phenomenal job. Halo was one of those characters when they saw her get announced. I'm like, meh, who cares? And then she came on. I'm like, okay, I care.
They did her well.
Ruthless.
Yep.
Phenomenally ruthless. In the comics, the ruler of hell itself.
Pretty good.
She's dangerous when she needs to be. Yeah, I'm just going to keep her at 4 there.
That's fantastic. That's really great.
Okay, number 3 is coming off of my recent read of Fear itself.
Ooh, nice.
I have Kol, the brother of Odin, also known as the Serpent. This is a man who took Thor out, killed Thor. The prophecy stated that they would kill each other, and that they did.
Yep.
First of all, dude is like, hey, I need an army. So I'm going to throw 7 hammers down. Instead of just, Thor having 1 hammer, he's like, I got 7 hammers for these people. And then
it's quite a few.
They just possess the strongest people that are worthy of those hammers. You got Thing, you got the Hulk, you've got Gargoyle for whatever reason, you've got the Absorbing Man, you've got
Absorbing Man makes sense.
Titania.
Yep.
And Atuma, which is that one's sick.
Goodness.
I know I missed. Oh, and then obviously the daughter of the Red Skull is leading them all.
Ooh.
So
Sin, she's not nice.
Horrific.
Nope.
And these guys go on an absolute tear. Bucky Barnes dies in this storyline from all of these guys.
Yeah.
So it takes literally Tony Stark creating a new armory of weapons for the Avengers from Odin's Forge to combat these guys. So I've got the Serpent at number 3.
Another great professional wrestling, name, right? You got the Wrecking Crew, the Serpent. See a theme here. That's really nice. My number 3 is Malekith. Okay, in Jason Aaron's run in particular, Malekith does, not the Lord's work, whatever the opposite of the Lord's work would be, but he is a phenomenal villain. He's nefarious, he's manipulative. Also, this tends to help, he's extraordinarily powerful, right? And he knows how to use his power to the best effect. One of the ways is he rarely just goes square up with Thor. He brings in all kinds of additional adversaries to weaken Thor, and then when Thor's feeling at his lowest, that's when Malekith strikes. It's brilliant. It's dirty, it's Bush League, but it's Malekith's way. And as an evil dark sorcerer, he manages in Jason Aaron's run to take off one of Thor's freaking arms. That's not to be dismissed. Now, mind you, Thor upgrades, gets an arm from the Destroyer, just like, hey friend, can I borrow that? Pops it on the old side. Turns out that was nice. So maybe it backfired a bit on Malekith, but he was done dirty in the movie, as we just discussed in length, but in the comics, he is an absolute force to be reckoned with. So Malekith is my number 3. My number 2, it's Loki. Loki is at times friend, but in more often than not scenarios, enemy to Thor. And the emotional tie-in here, right, when it's your brother, that makes it pretty tough. Loki is equally, if not more so powerful than Malekith. The tricky part here with Loki is that Thor is less likely to just smash Loki. He wants to give him a chance. He wants to trust him. Bless him. And that's when Loki stabs him right in the back. So Again. So for me, Loki is number 2. You're number 2, sir.
I'm going to tell you right now, we probably have the same 2 and the same one.
Incredible.
And by probably same 2, I know we have the same 2 because you just said it. My number 2 is Loki.
There you go.
Which means our number 1 is probably the same. For sure. Hilarious. Loki, for all the same reasons that you said.
Yeah.
Easily one of the most fun dynamics in all of the MCU combined is Thor and Loki. I think that is, like, if we ever did a top 5 on relationships, they would probably have the number 1 spot. it's just always so compelling to watch those two characters together. We just talked about it in Thor 2.
Yep.
That movie, rough.
Yep.
The most interesting parts of that movie.
Yep.
When Thor breaks Loki out and those two are going at it.
Truly.
To the point where they're like trying to figure out if Thor can trust Loki again. He can't. So it's Loki at number 2.
Makes sense. Your number 1, sir.
It's Gore the God Butcher.
As it should be.
And that's your number 1, right?
You better believe it. Gore's number 1.
It's Gore.
With a bullet.
Oh my gosh. It took 3 Thors from 3 different timelines to kill this man. This God himself.
Incredible.
Insane.
Incredible.
He has the sword of the symbiote God himself, Null, which they don't build on until later, but
nonetheless,
also
he uses it super well.
Yes, he's a professional with the blade. He might use it better than Null.
Oh, I think so. And when when the name of the sword is all black, the Necro Sword, come on.
Perfect fantasy sword name.
It's absolutely perfect. And when your evil plot is to make a god bomb that doesn't destroy planets or physical places, but instead, when it explodes, kills all godlike beings, that's really good. Respect. That's incredible.
Not just all
that's
gods.
Incredible.
All gods from
for
all
times.
time.
From all times. Yep.
Absolutely nuts.
So good.
Talk about overkill.
Right?
That is overkill.
And that's Gore to a T. It's Gore to a T.
It is.
The only regret is that we did not quite get that in the MCU.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
No, we won't.
To me,
talk about
Thor
it.
4 is dead.
Okay. I
You
can
know
get
what
on
I
board
mean?
with that. I can totally get on board with that.
They did such a good job, though, with the entry from him, and then it just goes so downhill.
I know. I remember watching the first few minutes of the movie going, oh, they're doing it. They did it. It's going to be great. It wasn't.
One.
It
Suck
wasn't.
it, guy. And then, whatever reason, you're just like, oh.
But at least the comic is always there.
Oh my gosh, go read the book.
Go
read the book.
And here's the other thing that we haven't hit on yet with Gore in the comics is he is the reason that Thor Odinson goes hammerless for an extended period of time. Because not only did Gore accomplish all these unreal, terrible, but yet impressive things, perhaps most impressively, more so than Malekith ever did, more so than Loki ever did, he got to Thor psychologically and made it so that Thor did not believe he was worthy to pick up Mjolnir. I don't know what else can possibly take you to the top. That's incredible.
Well, and also think about this too, and you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm pretty sure that is the only story Gore is in.
Correct. No, it's true.
And this is the impact that he has.
Yes.
And that speaks volumes about the character
He gets
as a whole.
one shot, and his impact is that of a character who's been around for decades.
Because
it's incredible.
As far as I'm aware, I don't think they've brought him back even recently.
No, and hopefully they never do.
They don't need to.
I mean, they will. It's comics. I shouldn't have just said they never will. Of course they will. It's comics.
But they don't need to.
But they really don't need to. No, let the guy be. Yeah.
And because of it, we got an awesome old King Thor.
Oh.
Sick.
So good.
It was awesome.
So good.
So
Gore's number 1.
Easily.
Love it. Love it. Beans, great job. Anything else for the good people?
No, on that note, before the camera overheats for a second time, Godspeed.
Peace.